The brand new Stagg 24A is now available. It is 127.6 proof. We really got to figure out if it's good. So I decided to compare it to a couple E.H. Taylor barrel proofs. Let's go.
I'm your drinking buddy.
All right, drinking buddies. So I've had a couple people tell me that this batch of Stagg drinks a little off profile, but not in a bad way. I've heard from multiple people tell me that it drinks more like an E.H. Taylor barrel proof than it does like a Stagg. How could something like that happen? Well, generally, they're the same mash bill, and they're about the same age from what I've read. No age statement on either, so it could be that E.H. Taylor is older and Stagg is younger, but there's no age statements out there, so we can only guess. But what they do is if something tastes like it's E.H. Taylor barrel proof, they'll put it in an E.H. Taylor barrel proof bottle. And if it tastes more like Stagg, so two slightly different flavor profiles, despite the fact that they are very similar. I have a theory that the E.H. Taylor barrel proofs are older, and so you get a little bit more medicinal cherry, a little bit more leather out of those, a little bit more oak out of those than you do out of a Stagg, where on a Stagg you get more sweet cherry and more cherry cola type vibes. Let's dive in. Let's figure it out. So somewhere in these glasses, I have Stagg batch 24A, which like I said is 127.6 proof. And then in one of these, I have E.H. Taylor barrel proof batch 10. I'll put the proof in the description when I use it. And then E.H. Taylor barrel proof batch 12, which is 131.1 proof. So they're right around 130 proof. Let's go. Oh, that is nice. Sweet tea, brown sugar. This isn't giving me Buffalo Trace vibes on the nose. I mean, the distillery, that is. This is giving me just like, man, bourbon vanilla, just like classic bourbon nose all around. Let's go in. All right, so we're also kind of doing Find the Stagg here. So we have a game going on. We're going to review Stagg 24A. We also got to see if it can compare to these E.H. Taylor barrel proofs. But yeah, right off the bat, I mean, the nose on that one was just absolutely like classic bourbon, like nothing unique, nothing jumping out at me, but the palate is just so unique, so different, so also Buffalo Trace, like so Buffalo Trace, where you get like the cherry, you get a little bit of that grape must thing that is just Buffalo Trace to me. A lot of vanilla. You know, there's something a little bit on here that is almost reminding me of like over steeped tea, where you have a little bit of that almost bitter thing, but not in a bad way. And I think that's just oak, like oak tannins, but that's a good place to start because that is very tasty. Different nose from glass one. So on the glass one, I don't get any fruit on the nose. Glass two is fruity. Glass two is cherry and raspberry, maybe even a little apple, like apple pie, where you got like the cinnamon thing going on too. This one's bright, like a bright nose, which is not something I normally associate with Stagg. Actually quite similar palate to one. One is sweeter. This is a little bit, even that like bitter, the slight bitter thing on here is more prevalent on here. These are not knocks, these are just observations. The cherry thing is here. Neither one of these is drinking like Stagg to me, so maybe I've already seen the two E.H. Taylor barrel proofs, but I think, and this changes sometimes when I go through them a second time. Sometimes look at a comment that was like, you really liked glass one, and then when you went through it again, you didn't like it. What happened? And I'm like, well, I change my mind sometimes when I go through them a second time. This is visceral. This first go through is just visceral, my initial thoughts. Sometimes I change my mind. I mean, I suppose this is a closer nose to glass 2 than it is to glass 1, because it's a little bit fruity, but it's not as fruity as glass 2. Now I got a little bit of a hay thing on one. Now the fruit shows up. Now we have fruit. What's going on here? I did let these sit for about 20 minutes before I'm drinking them. I really like to do that, especially for high proof. And yes, you'll notice this is the quote-unquote neck pour, but I did some special consideration for that. What I did was I opened it for about an hour with the cap off before I even poured it to try to get a little bit of that trapped ethanol out of there and get some quote-unquote air on it. This is my favorite nose of the three, because it's kind of like a combination of the two, where you got like the fruity things from here, but then you got like just like the sweet, desserty type vibes over here. And there's a little bit of oak here too. I would say that one wins on viscosity, like mouthfeel, like thickness, like it's very syrupy. I would say just off initial thoughts, the palate is not as good as the first two glasses. There is a little bit of leather here. There is a little bit of, there is like a cherry cola thing going on here. Man, the finish though. We're in one of those weird situations where I like the palate more over here, but the nose and the finish are better over here. So all we can really do is go through these again. I'm gonna pause. When we come back, I'll give you my pure thoughts, tell you which one's my favorite, see if I can find the Stagg, if that makes sense, and tell you if you should run out and buy this. If it's better than E.H. Taylor proof, if it's better than E.H. Taylor barrel proof, you better run out and buy it. So let's go. All right, guys, we got a weird one going on here, because second time through, I feel like things changed fairly dramatically. This drink's dramatically hotter than the other two. I don't know if maybe I highly doubt that's the fresh open Stagg, because let's be honest here. I know a lot of you guys are huge neck pour believers, but it's not as dramatic as a lot of people say it is. Ugh, I'm gonna get so much hate in the comments for saying that, but master distillers tell you it's not even real. So I'm not saying that. I think it's real. I just think that some people exaggerate it a little more than it really is. So I don't think it's that. I think this might just be one of the E.H. Taylor barrel proofs is a little higher proof. It's drinking hot compared to the other two, second and third times through. Now this, I do really dig. But remember how I said the nose is better here and the finish is much better over here? I'm really feeling like the palate got better on the second and third sips. And I think maybe what I'm learning right now, and I could be completely wrong because I don't know what these are. I think maybe I might like the Stagg flavor profile better than the E.H. Taylor barrel proof. It might be more to my liking. You know, initially when we started this video, I said, you know, the E.H. Taylor gives you a little bit more like leather tobacco vibes, you know, like older. That's this guy. Like this one drinks older leather tobacco. And when I taste it, I'm like, oh, this is Stagg. Like, I think this is the Stagg, and I think it's my favorite. So what does that mean? Well, like secondary on a Stagg is like 150 to 200. Secondary on an E.H. Taylor barrel proof is like 400 plus. For me, I'm not chasing those E.H. Taylor barrel proofs. I'm just trying to get my hands on as much Stagg as I can, because I think it's becoming my favorite thing to just regularly drink. And I can do that because I have, like, this is my 9th open one. Like, I have 9 open right now. That might sound crazy to some of you people, to some of you guys who, you know, only drink like 1 bottle at a time. But I kind of like to jump around. Like, I kind of like to taste different things. Plus, I got to review them for you. So I can't just be like, well, I got this 24A. I guess I'll open it sometime in 2026 when I've finished all the rest of these. I just can't do that because I got to review it for you. So anyway, we learned that I think this is the Stagg, and I think it's my favorite. Let's find out. The Stagg was my favorite. My second favorite was this one, which was the Batch 10. And my least favorite, which was still really good, was Batch 12. Yeah. So that's really interesting. We had an interesting one here. I'm very curious what you guys think of this one. I would like you to leave me a comment below and tell me what you think of this, because this was really interesting. I expected to not pick the Stagg as my favorite. I expected it to lose, but I could see those people being right that say that it drinks in that E.H. Taylor barrel proof taste. You know, it's got the similar flavor profile as E.H. Taylor barrel proof. So if you are an E.H. Taylor barrel proof fan, you probably want to go try to hunt this thing. And you probably are if you're an E.H. Taylor barrel proof fan. But my review is it's a buy, I guess. I don't. It's a Stagg, obviously. It's a buy. All right. Well, thank you for watching. Anyway, cheers and thanks for watching. And please subscribe and like the video if you enjoyed the video, and leave me a comment below what you thought of this. Have you tried this batch yet? Let me know in the comments what you thought of it. Cheers.
I'm your dream.